Hi, I'm P, and this is my podcast. Hey guys, so I need to look up something. I think Mercury retrograde is in the shadow phase or whatever. That's what I think. Oh, my dog kicked me a little bit. She's asleep. Because anyway, this is the third time that we've recorded this, and yeah. But the cool thing about it though is that I'm a lot more comfortable on camera now because I've basically been on camera 4 times at this point. So that's cool. First question. Oh, this is episode 33. Welcome to episode 33. First question. How in your life are you experiencing your own chart, and what's your favorite, juiciest part of your chart? So I love my chart. First of all, I feel like it's great. I think I chose it. I'm pretty sure. I love it. The juiciest part for me is my 34 to 20 channel. I love it. It's really great because I can get really into a zone and it feels like I'm vomiting pure power out into the world, whatever I'm creating. When I'm in that zone, it's one of my favorite things. But the weird thing about the 34 to 20 channel is that when I'm in that zone of vomiting creative life force out of my body at cannon speed, it can be really hard to get me out of that zone, or like it feels really jarring when I do get out of that zone and get kind of like stopped. If I'm doing a reading and I'm in that zone, it's okay if I get interrupted because like it's almost like that person's like, please stop vomiting at me. And that's cool. But when I'm like creating art and I'm in a zone and someone comes like from the side energetically and is like, boop, and they're trying to like pop in while I'm doing that, then I'm like, stop the presses. What are you doing? It feels like I really don't like it. But it's one of my favorite parts of my chart. But the part that I'm experiencing, I think with the most like clarity right now is my I feel like my fifth line I'm pretty conscious of, but the 2 to 14 channel has been like a big thing for me lately because the 2 to 14 channel feels like I'm pointing energy, and it feels like I've been asked by both myself and the rest of reality to help point energy. Not in the way like a projector points energy, but it's not because I know where energy should go. I can just feel when it's not in the right spot. Like it feels like something's not calibrated correctly. And so I can feel misalignment of energy really easily when I'm connected to the seat of my identity. And so it feels like I've been asked to connect deeper and deeper to the seat of my identity. And that brings in resources for me, which is really cool. So when I connect to myself and my inner sense of direction, that magnetic monopole inside of the gate 2 in my chest feels real cool. It's like I'm opening up this huge funnel to allow things in. But the really cool thing about this ability to like calibrate energy, it's coming from my connectivity to self, and it causes other people to feel misalignment in themselves and align themselves just by witnessing how connected I can be to myself. Doesn't mean that I'm always connected to the gate 2 and the seat of my soul. It just means that I've been doing it more often, and it's been really helpful for both me and others. So that's cool. Next question. I am a 6'2". How do I absorb information, and what do I do to channel it with ease? So you're a 6'2". You are someone you have had both experiences that have created intelligence and understanding for you, but you also have an inherent understanding of certain pieces of wisdom that are just existing on the planet. The thing about the 6-2 is that I feel that you all need to let yourself detach from other people's ideas of intelligence and wisdom, because the energy overall of the 6-2 combined is this detached watcher. Like it's there's a show that my partner was talking about before where there's this like alien being who's here to like observe and watch the planet. That's a 6-2. There's a certain amount of energy of just like being in your own little dome and bubble that I think that 6-2s came here to master and hang out in. So making sure like, yes, you can, watch other people exist, see them learn lessons, go over your past lessons, all that good stuff. But spend time just being the detached witness. And maybe when some people have certain experiences, they might find this particular meaning from that experience, but you don't relate to their wisdom like that. Like what that person has concluded about this experience, you don't relate to what they're saying in the same way. And so letting yourself see information the way that you see it when you're on your own by yourself, detached and away from others, while still witnessing others exist is, I think, a very important part of you absorbing information on the planet. Yeah. Be careful with comparison, because you also might not have the best time seeing yourself for what you are. So, next question. I wanted to ask if it's possible to have a human design reading with you without having the time of my birth. I prefer that you have your birth within 15 minutes if you're going to do a reading with me, just because I don't want to waste your time. And sometimes your chart can change within 15 minutes. And so I would prefer that you have that. Not everyone is going to have that available on their birth certificate. And so there are such things as birth time rectifiers. They tend to be astrologers who have studied in particular birth time rectification. They do that through question asking and just learning about your history and different things like that. So I would get together with a rectifier and get your birth time rectified. You can get pretty close with that. At-side Astro Energetic Healing is a rectifier that several people that I know have referred, so I would check them out. And then there's also software that you can use to rectify your birth chart. I don't know if I trust the software as much. I would try it out. I used rectification software for my mom and got, I think, pretty close to her birth time, and she was able to ask her mom when she was born again. I remember her grandma, or my grandma, gave her a really close window of time to the time that I got from her rectification. So, and that was really important because I thought my mom was a projector for a while, and then I found out she was a manifestor, and I'm like, yep, but cool. Let's see. All right. Next question. In regards to love and romantic partnerships, how can I tie HD to romance? By putting romance before human design. And what I mean by that is that connecting with someone based off of their human design chart, or I connect well with 3-5 is because I'm a 1-4 or something like that. And I would not try to use compatibility in that way. With astrology too, I feel like using charts to read compatibility can be a weird game, because both human design charts and astrology charts are potentials, and so you don't know how someone is going to express their chart explicitly. So I would know the being, and then you can, if you know their human design chart, use their chart to support your knowing of them, rather than trying to use a chart to figure out how to, or whether or not something will work, or so. The reason why romance makes me the word romance, when I hear the word romance with human design, I feel strange about it, just because how do I put this into words? I would remove romance and just think of connectivity with a being not compatibility, connectivity. So how are you connecting? Are you connecting because some of your placements are alike? Are you experiencing this electricity or this reaction because you have some opposite placements? Like looking at how connectivity is happening rather than trying to create connectivity. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. So know your chart. Know if you are able to know your chart and try to understand the other being and then use their chart to support that understanding. It could be really helpful and then move on from there. And I feel like that's the same with every sort of relationship. Cool. Next question. Any advice for this tortured soul, for a tortured soul? So if you are a tortured soul or you're experiencing your soul being tortured at this moment, first of all, I've had times where I feel like a tortured soul. Sometimes it comes up a bit. And so that part of me who feels like a tortured soul still exists somewhere on this plane. So when I'm in that space, what helps me is not making the fact that I'm experiencing this tortured version of myself, not making it mean something, but not making it mean that I am worthy of feeling this suffering and this pain and this torture for any sort of reason, not applying judgment to the pain or the suffering that I'm experiencing. And I know judgment is a weighted word. People apply connotations to it, but judgment just meaning positive or negative. I would try to move away from any sort of judgment being placed on your experience of what you're having right now. Because what often happens when we are coming from that like tortured soul place is we say that it's for something, like it's because I'm bad, or it's because I should be punished, or it's, trying to create reasons for why it's happening. Stop doing that. Just let yourself experience the torture. Let yourself experience the pain and the suffering. Let yourself be a witness to the pain and the suffering without trying to create this agenda about it. That's what I have to do. Because it feels like trying to make something against me or have like some sort of agenda against me, it just makes it so much harder to move through the torture, because it feels like I have this enemy, like this op, that I'm fighting. And it's like, well, I'm not actually fighting anyone. And I could just, be experiencing pain and suffering. So that's my answer to that question. Oh, no. Okay, no, everything's fine. Sorry, that was dramatic. P, I would love to hear your thoughts on when there's no channels connecting a defined head and Anya to a defined throat. The throat is connected to the sacral via the 34-20. If you have a defined Anya and head and is not connected to the throat, and they asked how to best express or share point of views, insights, downloads, etc. When you're in download mode, be in download mode. When you are having these insights and this clarity around theories about things, and it feels like, whoa, I know something. When you get really solid, be solid there, hang out there, witness it. Be a witness to the glory of your intelligence and your mental power. Honor it. Have reverence for your wisdom and your understanding and your intelligence. Be there with it. Witnessing it could mean that maybe you're writing down these downloads, not for the reason of expressing it at some point, but literally just being like, wow, I am making record of my genius. Just witness it purely. And then there will be times where it will be expressed out of your body, and you'll feel like it's a compulsion. When you fully witness your downloads and you have that placement and you have your sacral to that 34-20 channel, there'll be times where you're so present in your body and there will be a compulsion to express it. You'll like, I need to say something out into the world. I need to get something out into the world. I need to make some art or write something, do a blog post. I don't know. I need to talk to somebody on the street. There's going to be a time where you're going to have a compulsion to express yourself. When that compulsion comes, move, do it, get present in your body and do it, move without hesitation. And I feel like what often happens is that people will learn to honor a certain part of their chart more than they honor another part of their chart and value them. They'll do a hierarchy thing on certain aspects of your chart, but Honor them both. They're both, your chart's divine. Honor it for what you're experiencing now. So being present to what is happening in your body. Is it mental energy or is it sacral expressive energy? Yeah. That's what I would say. When it's time to come out, it'll come out. Oh, I did. Okay. Yeah. The thing is that sometimes when you are a split definition, it could take some time for the mental insight to integrate into your body, which is why it's important to not immediately take action on your mental process that's happening. Sometimes it's not even for you. And so most of the time it's not just for you, but just making sure you have time to integrate it. There will be times where you might be around someone who makes it easier to integrate, and it feels like the download is just like directly downloading into your body immediately. And that person might be causing connectivity between your anya and your throat. And maybe like a certain day could be activating that for you as well. But notice when you do have that like direct connection into the body, and notice who you're around when that's happening too. Not so that you're always, around that person so that you always have that connectivity because you came here for those separate experiences, but just noticing that like, okay, so if there's a time that I really want to just get it from head to sacral and out of the body, I'll purposefully go and hang out with this person because that causes that for me. But yes, that's all I have. I love you. Bye.